Merry Vlogmas Day 2, everyone. This is Amy of AJC Magic TV, and it is the countdown to Christmas. I decided to switch to a different calendar, easier to get the chocolates out. So let's see what number 2 brings us. And the actual piece is like a horn. So there, it's day 2 on the chocolate. Let's open up the Disney 100 Years of Wonder Storybook Collection figurine on day 2. I actually pre-opened it. Good morning, Rob Fuzz. And we got Donald today. So we have Tigger and Donald that go along as we go. So we're going to end up with all kinds of figures from that. Welcome in, Penguins Master. And that is Donald. And we'll switch off and get to the story for day 2 of the countdown to Christmas. And it's about Onward. The story is Onward. Yes, I will pull the Tigger out there. They're kind of hard there to get that out. Ah, yes, I miss you. Thank you, Rob. But here's the Tigger. And then I'll pull Donald back out. I should actually put him on a stand there. But here is the Donald Duck and Tigger. And then you'll end up with all the different characters from the 100 Years of Disney. So there they are. We did the chocolate. And then I will go ahead and do the story there. So thank you all for joining. This is Vlogmas Day 2. And sometimes I'll go live and sometimes it will be a video. In a world where magic had been replaced by technology, Ian Lightfoot was a shy teenage elf who lived with his mom, brother Barley, and their pet dragon Blazy. Ian and Barley's dad had passed away when the boys were very young. Ian missed his dad every day and wished he could talk to him. Today was Ian's 16th birthday, and his mom, Laurel, had a surprise for him. Ian and Barley's dad had left a special gift for them, which was only to be opened when both the boys had turned 16. Inside was a real wizard's staff, a rare phoenix gem, and a visitation spell. They would allow Ian and Barley to bring back their dad for one day. Good morning, Michelle the Quilter. Thank you for joining. Up in Ian's bedroom, the brothers tried the spell. Suddenly, a beam of light shot out to the staff. Then their father's shoes and socks began to materialize, but Ian was struggling to hold the staff steady. Barley tried to help, but the gem exploded. They thought the spell had failed until they heard something rustling in the closet. It was their dad, but only his bottom half. His legs staggered around, and Ian was upset to see his father's confusion. Barley tapped out a rhythm on Dad's shoes, just like he had done as a child. Dad tapped his foot in reply, then placed his foot on Ian's. He knew his sons were with him. Now Ian and Barley had to find another phoenix gem to retry the spell before sunset. But first they had to get a map to help them. We'll start at the place where all quests begin, said Barley confidently. The Manticore's Tavern. The Manticore was a legendary 1,000-year-old warrior. Ian had his doubts, but the three Lightfoot men piled into Guinevere, Barley's van, and drove off. Along the way, Ian used old clothes to make an upper body for Dad. When they arrived at the tavern, they found it was now a family-friendly restaurant hosting birthday parties and karaoke. And the Manicore, now better known as Corey, was no longer the fearsome beast spoken about in legend. Barley asked Corey for the map, but she refused. Corey now believed quests were dangerous. Welcome in, Karki, if I did not say hello to you. Barley reminded Corey that she used to take risks and live for adventure. Realizing she was living a lie, the Manicore cried out, "What have I become?" Then she blew fire around the tavern, burning everything modern. Suddenly a flaming wooden beam started falling towards Dad. Using the staff, Ian was able to use a levitation spell and save him. On a menu, which was based on the original map, Barley found a clue that led to the Raven's Point, so they jumped in Guinevere. On the way, they needed to get gas. As Ian was filling up the van, he heard Dewdrop, the leader of a motorcycle club of tough-talking sprites called Pixie Dusters, arguing with Barley. Then Dad accidentally bumped into the Pixie Dusters' motorbikes, and they all fell over. The sprites were furious. Ian, Barley, and Dad jumped in Guinevere and managed to get away. However, they were soon pulled over by the police. Ian used a disguise spell to cloak himself, and Barley in an image of Officer Bronco, their mom's boyfriend. But the spell came with a rule. If Ian lied, a part of the disguise would disappear. The plan worked until one of the officers called Barley a screw up. When Ian disagreed, one leg vanished. Barley knew Ian lied. Having gotten away from the police, Ian tried to explain that he didn't think his brother was a screw up, but Barley knew magic didn't lie. Barley turned on the music in the van and got out. "I don't know how any of this stuff works," exclaimed Ian. "All I know is that everything we've done tonight has gone wrong." "It's gone wrong because you won't listen to me," replied Barley. Suddenly, Dad started dancing to the vibrations of the music. He strutted over to the boys and got them dancing too. With the tension broken, Barley said he wanted a chance to prove himself, and Ian agreed to do things his way. Meanwhile, worried about her sons, Laurel had been to the burning tavern where the Manticore told her about their quest. The tavern owner then remembered about the Phoenix Gem curse, which she'd forgotten to mention to Barley and Ian. The only thing that would help against the curse was her enchanted sword, the Curse Crusher. They raced to the pawn shop and managed to get the sword back at an inflated price from the greedy owner, Grecklin. Back on the quest, Ian, Barley, and Dad had reached a statue of a raven. Barley realized that the clue wasn't leading them to Raven's Point. It was telling them to go where the ravens were pointing. Sure enough, when they looked in the direction the statue pointed, they could see another raven in the distance. Ian was impressed. Maybe his brother was right all along. Oop. Following where the ravens were pointing, they eventually came to a raven that stood near a river. There was a loose stone on the raven, which Barley pulled out. That strange symbol on the stone gave him an idea. We go to the end of the water and we'll find that phoenix gem, said Barley. Ian, Barley, and Dad follow the river into a cave. Using magic, Ian made a raft from one of Barley's cheese puffs. Along the way, Ian practiced other spells. He felt more confident that he would be able to perform the visitation spell again and finally meet his dad. Good morning, Mike Beachman. At that moment, Barley shared a sad memory. When their dad was in the hospital, Barley was too scared to go into his room to say goodbye. Barley sighed. That's when I decided I was never going to be scared again. The river ended at the entrance to the final gauntlet. Barley said the Phoenix Gem would be on the other side. They ran through the tunnel and entered a small chamber, which started to fill with water. The boys guided Dad to a portal opening. They climbed through the portal into the sunlight above, but then discovered they were back in New Mushroomton, right where they started. No, that does not make sense, exclaimed Barley. This has to be where the Phoenix Gem is. I followed my gut. Ian was crushed. He trusted his brother and it had gotten him nowhere. Ian walked away with Dad, leaving Barley alone. Ian sat on a cliff as the sun began to set and pulled out the list of things he wanted to do with his father. He was about to scribble them all out when Ian realized something. He'd already done them all, not with Dad, but with Barley. He thought about all the times during his life that his brother had encouraged him, had fun with him, and helped him become a better person. Barley had always been for Ian. Now Ian would return the favor. In the meantime, Barley noticed that the stone from the raven statue fit perfectly in the old fountain. It opened up, and a hidden chamber revealed the Phoenix Gem. Ian returned to help, but suddenly a smoky mist poured out of the fountain. It was the curse. The fire-breathing beast stomped toward Barley. Run, he shouted to Ian and Dad. Just then, a dark shape swooped down from the sky. It was the Manticore wielding the Curse Crusher, with Laurel riding on their back. While Laurel and the Manticore battled the dragon, Ian put the Phoenix Gem in place and cast the visitation spell. This caught the dragon's attention. Barley wanted to distract it so Ian could finally meet Dad. No, exclaimed Ian. You say goodbye. I had someone who looked out for me, someone who pushed me to be more than I ever thought I could be. I never had a dad, but I always had you. Ian hit the dragon with a spell as Laurel tossed the curse crusher to him. He plunged it deep into the curse. The dragon exploded in a blinding flash. Suddenly, there was another burst of light. Ian saw Dad fully materializing in front of Barley. Tears filled Ian's eyes as Barley and Dad talked. When the sun set, Dad hugged Barley and then disappeared. Barley told his brother how proud Dad was of Ian. Ian smiled. Well, I owe an awful lot of that to you. He kind of said that too, said Barley. Oh, and he told me to give you this. Barley gave his brother a big hug. Yeah, it is kind of cute there. You're welcome, Michelle. Thank you for joining. The quest had changed the Lightfoot family. Each of them had discovered things about themselves they hadn't known before. The experience of seeing Dad return, even briefly, had brought the family closer together than ever. No matter what was to come, they would always have each other to lean on. There you go. It's Onward. If you've never seen the movie, it is a very good Disney movie. Especially if you have sons, it's a very good bonding movie for sons there. But there you go, everyone. Thank you for joining for day 2 of Vlogmas. And look for many more to come till Christmas Eve. Thank you all very much. And these were the 2 first and second. Tigger was yesterday and Donald was today. So thank you very much. And have a great afternoon, everyone, and happy holidays. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you all for joining. Bye. Have a great day.